Riley O'Neill, Joe Dredge.
Hey.
Mornings on WROK. Over 95 years in the books and still on top. This is Rockford's News Talk 1440 WROK.
Now that sounds more like the Ides of March. Yeah, the guys who did Vehicle. Ides of March is our ongoing theme because it was on this date, 44 BC. End of the line for Caesar. We celebrate this every year.
Yes, we do.
Every year. Still sore about the crossing of the Rubicon. It all comes together, and Ides of March brings us in and out of the top and bottom of the hour.
This is Superman by Ides of March. I like this one.
Yeah. And the last time you played a cut from them, it didn't sound like them at all. This sounds like that growling lead vocal and all that goes along with it.
Yes.
Big difference in some of their stuff.
Yes, it is.
Big difference in some of their stuff.
Keep an eye on them.
He's Joe. I'm Riley. It's cloudy and 33. It feels like it's 28. We're headed for 60 today. Is it going to rain? 3% chance only. And we will get some sunshine peeking through as well. Not too bad as far as temperatures tonight as we drop to 40. Tomorrow, up near 70. 68 is the expected high. Let's just call it 70 and see what happens.
Okay.
Going to be partly cloudy. Overnight low, 48 Wednesday going into Thursday. Ooh. Yeah. Ooh. Thursday's a little cooler at 55 with a 40% chance of being rained on. We're down to 37 Thursday night. Friday's cold, comparatively speaking, at 43.
Okay.
With a 66% chance of drawing rain. 53 on Saturday and back to a mix of clouds and sun.
Okay, not bad.
There's your week in a nutshell.
Like it.
Also happening this week is the big dance begins. March Madness begins in earnest.
Begins tonight.
It begins tonight. What, play-in games tonight?
Play-in games. You get Texas A&M Corpus Christi against Texas Southern, I think. That's a 16-16 matchup. And then Wyoming and Indiana are after that.
Before I get into what I have a piece here about the tournament, not anything about what's being played, but more about the money angle on things. Can you, in the briefest possible way, explain play-in game to people who don't know what that is? I had a friend who said to me yesterday, and he's in his 50s, he goes, I feel like an idiot. I'm in my 50s, and I've heard this forever, and I guess I've just never cared. What's a play-in game?
So, way back in the day, it used to be, I think, 48-team draw, or I think it was 32, then it expanded to 48, then they finally expanded to 64, early 80s, something like that. 64, beautiful number, power of 2, perfect symmetry, all that. But enough of mid-major, or not even mid-majors, a bunch of teams complaining not making the tournament. So they expanded it. They opened it up to 4 extra teams. So 4 extra teams. So now 68 teams make the field of 68 for the tournament. That's not a nice round number. So ostensibly they expanded it to a 128-team bracket. And everybody gets a first round bye except for these 2 or these 4 games on both sides of the bracket. So these 4 games then feed into the main 64-team bracket. So it's just expanding to 68 teams. There was a push to expand to 96. That would have given a whole another half round of buys. But then now you're just getting the dumb teams making the tournament that don't matter anymore.
Okay.
Yes.
Hopefully producing a Cinderella out of all of that.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. So
Got it.
They
all
just open it up a little bit more, and this is how they need to get these games going to set the field at 64 by Thursday.
There you go. Okay, play-in game. Now it's explained. I explained it similar, not quite as in-depth as you, but basically it had to do with expansion. These guys just play to throw a couple of more people into the tournament.
Yeah, give 4 more teams an opportunity.
I said, you really haven't been doing yourself a disservice by not paying attention to that. You're fine.
VCU, back in 2008, maybe, something like that, VCU made a run from a play-in game to a Final Four. That's
Virginia Commonwealth?
Virginia Commonwealth, yes. That was the Shaka Smart year. That was a wonderful team. I think that's the most success anybody's ever had coming out of a play-in game, because you're never going to be higher than 11 or 12 seed. in the play-in game. So
some money to be made, though, if a play-in team does make it all the way to the Final Four and you put a wager down.
Yeah, you can make some money on that one.
I bet.
Indiana, hot team right now, so keep an eye on them.
Speaking of, we often joke about how March Madness begins, and of course now we lose $11 bazillion in productivity.
Right.
Give or take the decimal point.
Because the rest of the year, everyone is focused on work 100% of the time.
Sure. Well, our friends at Wallet Hub, they're a personal finance website. They've got some great numbers crunchers at that website. I refer to them quite often. They put together some numbers here. And they talk about the big NCAA tournament being a fun distraction for workers, but bosses might want to look away because March Madness is actually costing them money.
Okay.
A new study from Wallet Hub reveals American businesses lose blank each year because employees are less productive during March Madness. Now, this isn't individually. This is a cumulative. American businesses lose blank each year during March Madness because people are goofing off watching games.
$500 million.
$13.8 billion.
Okay.
According to the Wallet Hub study, the average worker spends 6 hours watching the tournament each year. If you're counting on a millennial to finish that project.
6 hours total?
That's what it says here. The average worker spends 6 hours watching the tournament each year. That's cursory at best. I would think what they probably mean is
6 hours during work.
Yeah, during work.
Here's the thing about the whole losing productivity. This Thursday is going to be is a bad day. I see a lot of productivity loss this Thursday and Friday as well. This Thursday and Friday are bad, but then next Thursday and Friday games don't start until 1:30, 2 o'clock on Thursday and Friday, and that's it. So that's what a third of the day at most. So we missed Thursday and Friday. That's 2 days. Let's say everybody just watches all day at work. It's Thursday and Friday, and the next Thursday and Friday you're going to miss 3 hours at the end of work, and that's it. That's it. The next weekend is a Saturday Final Four, and then a Monday night championship game.
Yeah, it's not like it goes on for a month and games start at 7 a.m. and run all day long.
Monday through Friday. It's a couple of days a year,
right? I look at it the exact same way.
Yeah.
56% of millennial workers admit they're willing to miss a work deadline in order to watch their team play in March Madness.
Absolutely.
Overall, watching some college hoops as a team will likely have a positive impact on many offices. 4 out of 5 employees say watching and celebrating March Madness at the office is their favorite part of it.
There you go.
Just to make things interesting, 29% of March Madness fans add they always fill out a bracket or a square pool at work. Nearly 9 in 10 feel these pools help build better camaraderie between them and their coworkers. Placing a wager on the NCAA tournament could make things a little less wholesome. It turns out that 81% of HR professionals say their businesses have no formal policy restricting an office pool.
Well,
I don't know if ours does.
I don't think so. I hope not. We've done it before here. The illegality of an office pool has always eluded me because as far as I is always concerned, as long as no one is skimming 5% off the top.
Right.
I think it's all above the table.
Hey, you're a sheriff and you want to not be reelected next time? Start crashing into offices and arresting people for this.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Stop it.
This is the sort of crime that the entire population just basically goes, leave it alone. Just leave it alone.
I mean, start with jaywalking before you get to cracking down
Has
office
everyone
pools.
who says spat upon the sidewalk been talked to?
Right.
Yeah, there's a bunch of things that maybe we ought to put on the priority line
First.
just a little bit ahead of that one.
Yeah.
Workers at other businesses might be slacking off during the tournament. No stopping the money train that's the NCAA tournament.
Nope.
Wallet Hub researchers find the NCAA brought in $1.16 billion in revenue in 2021. That's more than double what they brought in during the pandemic and even more than the last season pre-COVID.
So in 2021, NCAA pulled in $1.6 billion. Or
1.16.
1.16. Was that included this year?
That's 2021.
Oh, okay.
2021.
Okay.
Period. Their haul for 2021, $1.16 billion.
Pretty good.
This year's tournament will bring in big bucks for the 14 cities across the U.S. hosting the March Madness games. For New Orleans, who hosts the 2022 Final Four, study finds the tournament will bring in about $200 million to the city in revenue.
Good for them.
Only about 70,000 will visit New Orleans during the tournament. Many of those fans, as well as friends around the country, will likely be placing wagers. Estimates show that bettors will wager about $10 billion on the tournament this year.
Thanks.
Sports betting is now legal in more areas than ever before. The study finds $4 billion of it still is going to be done with your bookie.
Really?
Yep. So we'll do $10 billion total, but $4 billion of it's going to be done illicitly.
You tell me 40% of the betting market's still occupied by bookies?
Yep.
Okay.
I believe that, too.
You do?
Having grown up around bookies and men who frequented bookies, I can see that.
I will say this. I do think bookies still populate the high rollers because a lot of these apps will if you start doing too good on some of these apps, you start to get some betting restrictions.
Is it like your phone? They'll throttle you down?
Yes. Yeah, they will throttle you down.
Bookies don't do that.
Yeah, all of a sudden, why is my max bet only $20?
Because you've been winning.
You've been winning a little too much, sir.
Right.
Bookies will
Worst
not
case,
do
a bookie
that.
will just stop stopping by the house.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't have time. I don't have time for you today. Researchers say bettors wager 30% more money on the tournament than they do on the Super Bowl, one of the biggest betting days of the year. The average March Madness bet comes in on an average of $35.
$35?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
2019, sports fans filled out 149 million brackets, just shy of 156 million ballots cast in the 2020 election. So, while your odds of picking the right candidate, 50-50, don't count on seeing a perfect bracket anytime soon. Yeah. Odds of picking every winner in a field of 68 teams, 1 in 9.2 quintillion. You have better odds of winning back-to-back lotteries while only having a single ticket for each drawing and being struck by lightning twice on your way to buy the ticket.
Yeah, quintillion, I looked it up yesterday. The scientific notation is 10 to the 18th, so it's a 9 with 18 zeros after it. Not likely.
That's just stunning.
And if you kick out 16 seeds, I think it goes down to 2 quintillion.
Okay. Well, I feel better about things.
Don't you? Yeah.
Many of the coaches who are running around ought to be wagering a little bit, but there's no need. They're already in the dough. Example, Kentucky head coach John Calipari makes $8.1 million as college basketball's highest paid coach.
Okay.
That's more than what the president of the University of Kentucky makes and the state's governor combined.
Well, who's making more money for Kentucky, baby?
John Calipari.
John Calipari by a mile.
Yeah, I think that's probably true.
I think so.
Yeah, $8.1 million. Calipari is the sport's highest paid coach.
Love Cal.
I think he makes more than Saban makes.
Yeah,
Saban's money also comes in perks that go along with it, but the base salary, I think Saban's at 5 or 6.
Yeah, I think Saban can get some bonuses up above Calipari's, but 8.1 a year is a fine salary for a coach. I think it's more than anybody in the NBA is making too.
Right?
Yeah,
and he lives right off the Bourbon Trail. So
Cal's got a good life.
Yeah,
Cal's got a real good life.
I was going to say that wouldn't be a bad gig at all.
Yeah, I don't think he's hurting too much about those vacated A10 titles at Massachusetts.
No, I think it'd be all right.
Yeah, it turned out all right for him.
Yeah. So $14 billion, you guys. That's what we're supposed to kiss off during the NCAA tournament. If you find yourself being too productive, you're hurting the curve.
Yeah, I'm going to start doing it right now.
We actually started yesterday. 7:19. Clay and Buck are here after 11 o'clock. Here's what they'll get into.
Coming up on the two.
Yes, it's me. I'm on Medusa. It's for free. I'm on Medusa. I need a truck.
Over 95 years in the books and still on top. This is Rockford's News Talk 1440 WROK.
7:35 at News Talk 1440 WROK. It's Riley and Joe and the Ides of March there in the background.
This is Bald Medusa. I don't know how that works, but
I don't either.
I don't.
It seems your chances of being turned to stone would be minimized, wouldn't they?
Well, is the Gorgon stare? Is it the stare from the Gorgon that turns the stare?
It's not the snakes. Okay. No, it's the stare. So the sunglasses, as the commercial would indicate, would be the way to do it.
So what do the snakes do? Do they bite you? Or they just look scary?
It's just for the overall scary countenance, I think is what they're going for.
I've never really thought about what the purpose of the snakes were.
The snake hairstyle.
Okay, all right.
Because, occasionally you'll sleep wrong and you wake up and your hair hurts.
Yes.
Now, what if you're Medusa?
Right.
So now you got a bunch of angry snakes with a sore back on one side of your head.
How does Medusa sleep? Mm-hmm. One of those big, air foamy helmets that like women used to wear when they had their perms done.
Could be.
Things like that.
For anybody who just might be driving through the area from out of state, you're thinking to yourself, oh, that's right. They legalized weed here, didn't they? Yeah, they did. It's got nothing to do with this conversation. I'm sorry to report.
Just does.
7:36. There is a report out, though, about digital entertainment that is kind of interesting.
Okay.
Before the pandemic, theatrical and digital markets for entertainment were roughly similar in size.
Okay.
Last year, though, digital revenue was more than 3 times that of the global box office, according to a new report by the Motion Picture Association.
Well, that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense.
It goes hand in hand. I mean, no one was going to movie theaters, and we found all these new streaming services.
Yeah, somebody was going to shoot right to the top over something like that. The MPA's annual study of theatrical and home entertainment was published yesterday. Crystallized just how much streaming has come to dominate our media landscape. In 2021, the digital market accounted for 72% of the combined theatrical and home market.
Okay.
2019, digital accounted for $45.5 billion worldwide. Last year, $71.9 billion.
Wow. What are we adding up here?
We're adding up digital market, streaming services
Just streaming
in particular.
Services.
Yeah,
okay, so
streaming,
paying for Netflix, paying for Prime, paying
rather
for
than hit a
Hulu.
theatrical production. Streaming services have led the boom. 2021, streaming subscriptions rose to 1.3 billion globally. That's a 14% increase from the year before.
Okay.
In the U.S., subscriptions grew at a similar pace, 353.2 million. That's how many subscriptions to streaming services are going on in this country. That's more than one for every man, woman, and child.
Yeah.
According to Nielsen, the Pixar film Luca on Disney Plus was the most watched movie of 2021. 10.5 billion minutes of it were streamed.
Wow. That's a lot. But that also goes back to that one metric I was talking about. The minutes streamed is an interesting one because it does. I mean, it lends itself to movies and hour-long programs being deemed as more profitable because they're keeping eyeballs more than a half-hour comedy or anything like that. So, but 10 billion is still nothing to sneeze at.
No,
Did
not
you watch
at all.
Luca?
I have not seen Luca
I think
yet.
it's on Disney,
but
right?
I do want to see it. It sounds terrific. The digital surge came at the same time the pandemic was killing theaters. Worldwide box office last year nearly doubled that of 2020, the first year of the pandemic. The $21.3 billion theatrical market with sporadic theater closures and delays was roughly half of what it was before COVID got here.
Okay, wow.
2019, the box office accounted for $42.3 billion in sales. 2021, 21.3.
Honestly, I thought it'd be more than half gone.
I thought so, too.
Yeah.
Steady business returning to movie theaters in much of the world this year. Analysts forecast the theatrical recovery could reach around 80% of what it typically was.
Okay.
Physical sales, most notably DVDs and Blu-rays, have been on the decline for a year. Well, last year, physical media fell to $6.5 billion, or about half of what it was in 2018, and a fraction of what it was at its record high.
Wow.
When's the last time you bought a DVD?
Cubs won the World Series.
Okay. I think that might be the last DVD that came into our house, too.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. It may very well be. If you want it, it's there digitally, and you don't have to fill shelves with it.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Combined entertainment market in 2021, practically the same as it was before the pandemic, a total of $99.7 billion. That was actually higher than the $98.1 billion of 2019. Consumer spending, $328.2 billion last year, including cable subscriptions, also matched up with 2019.
Okay.
2020 and 2021, 179 original films were exclusive to streaming services, compared to 113 in 2019. Viewing movies online grew in 2021 by 15% over the previous year.
Pretty good.
Let's see.
Wait, what grew 15%?
15% viewing movies online.
Okay.
Rather than going to the theater, grew by 15% over a year before that.
Thought that would be higher, too.
I thought so, too. Yeah. Researchers found that in the 100 highest grossing films of 2021, 41% featured female leads or co-leads compared to 51% of the U.S. population. 32% of the leads were from a historically excluded race or ethnicity compared to 40% of the American population.
All right.
Don't know what that has to do with literally anything in the story, but AP thought it was important to include that.
Representation round.
Whatever.
Okay.
Whatever. Yeah, big dollars, but more dollars going toward catching it at home.
Yeah. I mean,
with no end in sight to that. I mean, theaters can do what they want. You'll still get people who will go to the theaters.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot more than they were 2 years ago. And you'll get people going in. But with the affordability of really large TVs, with the affordability of putting sound in a room that you consider to be your viewing room to where you can have great sound to go along with it.
Yeah, I haven't been in a long time. I was going to get out and try to see Wes Anderson had a new movie out, The French Dispatch. I was trying to get to a theater to watch that. Didn't do that. Ended up watching it at home.
Right. Spencer and I were going to head out to see Spider-Man like 4 or 5 different times. We still have not gotten around to doing that. And at this point, it'll be streaming in no time if it isn't already.
I know we talked about you can make a pretty nice at-home experience, but is there any movies you still want to go see in the big screen, the professional get up?
Sure.
Okay.
Some of your big blockbuster, action adventure, that sort of. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But at the same time, having said that, if someone said you can't,
I'd be fine.
I'm fine.
Yeah, we'd be fine.
I'm fine. I do enjoy the IMAX experience. I don't have anything against going to movies at all. I've always enjoyed doing that ever since I was a kid. So, but like I said, with the way things are now, in that you can put together your own home theater, pretty affordably, and that'll give you really good results. I kind of like the idea of catching it at home.
Yeah. And I think this could be just another nail in the coffin for your big studio comedies, because I don't know if people need to go out to see. I mean, it's my favorite genre of movie, but like Horrible Bosses, great movie. No need to see that in a theater.
Oh no,
I mean no need, none.
No, there's a lot of them that not necessarily. I don't know what the theater actually adds to the experience when you're talking about your big giant movies.
Yeah, I mean, some of the like Spider-Man. That's probably cool to get the Dolby's around. It's going to rumble your face.
Oh giant screen and all that. Sure,
yeah, that's good. But I don't need to see Charlie Day 40 feet in the air.
No, or a drawing room drama or comedy or whatever else doesn't necessarily lend itself to where the big screen experience is going to be that much better.
Yeah, no, I
don't think this is one of these things that the pandemic going away is going to undo.
No.
I think people got a taste of it and decided, of all the crap we had to put up with during the pandemic that actually and totally sucked, catching things at home didn't.
What can movie theaters do to get people back in like they used to?
Well, one of the things is, look at the economics of it.
I was going to say the price.
Look at what they're getting for a ticket.
Price? I mean,
you're a regular goer. Don't go for a while. Stack that away. You've got your home system.
Yeah, that's good. I have seen, I think, or maybe this was just proposed, but some tiered prices for movies. Like
sure,
like your Marvel, your tent poles would still be normal price, but maybe giving some discount for the lesser films, for lack of a better term, or films that don't need the theater experience or have been out for a couple of weeks, making it a little bit more affordable is good. But I'm saying that as a consumer, I don't know the ins and outs of what's going on at AMC. Are they on a shoestring budget right now? If they cut, admission down $1, they have to, cut back on butter because they're losing money now. I don't know.
That's a good question. I have no idea. By the way, the average movie ticket in America in the year 2000 was $5.39.
In the year 2000? Mm-hmm. It was $5.
$5.39 on average, coast to coast.
Okay.
In 2020, it was $9.16. It's more now. I don't think this one gives us a full update on where we are currently. But
$9 sounds low right now. I don't expect to pay less than $12.
Well, and if you want to catch one of the IMAX ones that we talked about, now we're talking what? 18?
I think
17,
about
18
that,
bucks?
yeah.
Something along those lines.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm a long way removed from being an AMC Stubbs Club member and having unlimited.
Remember having that?
Yeah, I mean, I could go.
Having that, yep.
A couple years ago, I was going to, about.
I remember your Stubbs card has expired. I'm like, I'm cool with that.
I'm fine, but
I'm cool with that.
Man, I was going to matinees 2-3 times a month and seeing some movies that I probably would never have seen otherwise. But I had a free pass to go see a movie and went to go do it. But I don't know what. I mean, is adults only time? 18 plus theaters just to keep kids out. I'm trying to think of things that would draw me to the theater more.
Well, they have I know they've gone with the concept of the older to keep the kids out, but they've also gone with the keep the kids in.
Oh, yes, they do have.
Yeah, let's do the
kids show.
Yep, let's do the kids show.
Where
mom and dad who are dealing with the kids, mom or mom and dad both show up, and
kids are free to run around the theater.
Yep.
It is fine,
and you get to catch the movie you wanted, kind of, in a place that you don't have to clean up afterwards.
Exactly, it's not bad there. So
we'll see what happens, but digital has really made some huge inroads into taking over.
Sorry, AMC, I'll stop by later.
747 News Talk 1440 WROK.